from the army. In this, evolving ecosystem of, it's a fast-paced ecosystem of startups that me and Sanjeev and our team has been making a very founders of some startups to get funding and convert their ideas into businesses. Our contribution to this dream of Atmanirbhar. We also are very grateful to all the investors who've been joining our calls. They have been very encouraging forward movements in their deliberations with the founders and some deals. Today we have three mentors who joined us. Shekhar has already introduced himself. We all are aware the contribution that Mr. Dugbandhu Rath, a former Chief General Manager of the State Bank of India and a seasoned banker, has had in our pitch day calls. He has also been the MD, the Managing Director of Gujarat Venture, and has been very kind uh, to be. I can only say that his very very sensible advice infuses a lot of confidence amongst the founders. We'll request him to continue rendering this advice. Mr. Rath, would you like to say a few words before we go on to Dominic, who's joined us today?
No, thank you for the.
I'm sure you will render all the good advice during the
Sure,
presentation
sure.
by the founder.
Let us have a look at the presentation, then we can contribute.
We were also, we'll also welcome Mr. Dominic, who's the founder and CEO of Technetics Consulting Private Limited.
Yes,
It's called Technetics. Yeah,
that's right.
he's focused on entrepreneurship, public policy, cyber security, artificial intelligence, machine learning, mediation, and arbitration. I'm certain he will have some meaningful advice for the founders today. Dominic, would you like to say something or during the course of the presentations? We
No,
request if you want
grateful
to.
to everybody for the
Yeah,
grateful to everybody for the invitation. AI and drones as well now, but I would love to hear the entrepreneurs today because they can speak a lot more. It's their platform, so we will listen to them and then take it from there.
So welcome. Uh, Startups who are going to do the presentations. The first founder who will make his presentation for the next 12 to 15 minutes is Mr. Kevin Kumar Pandasamy, whose startup, My Protection First, has had the privilege of presenting the Indian startups at the recently held World Economic Forum at Davos. The startup is in the clean tech sector. It's innovative, simple, sustainable technology which has great potential for growth. The second founder for today is Mr. Sanjeev Sinha, the CEO of Truedigital startup himself, who will make a presentation on his pitch deck the last 2 years and with his startup. The idea behind a startup is to be the enabling force for startups to grow into great businesses by facilitating their funding by the investors. Today, the startup sits on a repository of 395 great technological innovation businesses. Before we go ahead with the presentation from Kevin, I will just like to, lay down a few ground rules. Digital startup does not take the responsibility for any comments which may not be palatable or acceptable to someone. We would like to disassociate ourselves from such comments. Last time we had a instance where someone made a very personal comment. So we, as a startup, because I'm the host and the mediator, we would like to make this very clear that those are not on our behest, and we would like to disassociate ourselves from such personal comments if someone during the course of the call today makes such presents. Then like Sanjeev told you, we'll be recording this call. Uh, Between the two presentations, we need a small break of a minute when he sets up the recording, because he does the recording in almost three or four parts. And the intent of the recording, as I always say, presentation, we keep a record of it. Besides that, we put it on our platform so that everyone can have a look at the presentations if you want to see it subsequently. If you go to our site, you will see that whatever the past events are there, he has beautifully placed all these calls and you can see it on the YouTube. myself also gone through some of the pitch decks that I could not understand during the pitch deck call on the day they were made. And we'll have them at the end of the presentation by the founder. The timings, because what happened degeneration of the interest. Let everyone stick to the timings. We have 12 to 15 minutes of presentation by both the founders, and then we'll have 2 to 5 minutes of question and answers. Don't worry if no one asks you a question. Like I said right in the beginning, wish to thank all our investors who join us on the call. Most of them remain quiet during the presentations, and then they come up subsequently and ask us a lot of questions. If anyone has any very intricate questions, you can write to us at co@tdstartup.com. We will be able to connect you to the founder and get the answers to your questions. So Kevin, are you ready? Then let's have Kevin from My Protection First do his presentation. As I told you, it's a very innovative, simple, and sustainable technology that he's going to present. Let's listen.
There is a huge learning curve here for us, which is an opportunity and a crisis. The shutdowns, which we all went through, cost us about $12 trillion only in 1 year, and the after effects of something like that is still reeling on for us. And if that is not a problem to solve, we don't know what is. And there was no continuity in the business because people could not communicate to somebody else saying, hey, my office is open, my restaurant is open, and it is safe for you to come, right? And it is good, for you to get out there and breathe in some clean air. They couldn't communicate all of this because there were no standards to something like this because they've never experienced something like this before. And that was an opportunity for us. So this was continuity. How do you communicate with safety and certain other standards that gives you, the consumer or the end customer and the customer, the confidence to walk into your business? Unsafe lifestyle choices, I mean, that could serve the problem then, but was actually creating a problem, another problem with all the disposable stuff. Sooner or later, you're going to be consuming plastic in your food, whether you like it or not. And that is making of mankind's own inefficiencies and a lack of understanding of the problem that they've created. So all of this made us think that this is a true lifestyle problem as to how we behave, how we interact, how we made us think that we should look at safety as a lifestyle, and hence the word world's first safety lifestyle company. So we started off, it is not about COVID, that we can prevent from any other major breakdown of any other similar nature or distantly connected nature from happening in the future. So there was no concept of safety tech at all. And that gave us the opportunity too. So for something to be really successful, we always tell people it has to be innovative, right? Now, it's simple. No, it's not. Not everybody can go to Mars. I mean, yes, you can make electric e-mobility, and then hopefully e-mobility minimizes and extends the life of, without having to learn how to use it. And only then will it become a part of your trait. It will become a part of your mechanism. So, and we also said, no matter whatever solutions we come up with, they have to be sustainable for Mother Earth. So it has to be good for people and it has to be good for Mother Earth. And only then, if the product is infinitely scalable, it becomes a certain habit. So these are the 4 pillars that we use to design any product at My. And we commonly call ourselves more than My Protection, but our company is My Protection, the brand is My Protection, and the company's name is My TPE Wellness Services Private Limited. So as we were doing all of this, we started off by making, allow me to show you this, India's first, activated carbon and copper mask. We came up with products that people will, I'm sorry, let me just, I think you're not able to see my screen. Okay. There you go. I hope you're able to see it. Yes, y'all can see it. Wonderful. So we came up with India's first, reusable mask, which actually prevents you from poisonous gases, and at the same time prevents you from bacteria and viruses, and can be used for 6 months. But that was a product that solved that we came up with India's first indigenously designed and manufactured pocket-sized UV sanitizer that you can use on certain products where you cannot use liquid-based stuff. And FMCGs, hospitality, aviation, banking and finance, you name it. Not solving the problem fully, are we? We're just able to come up with products that serve the purpose now, but we're not able to really alter and keep businesses open. So we came up with a solution called My Safe Place. What if you can tell your end consumer, hey, my place is very safe to be open and you can come and engage in whatever you want to engage in over here? What if you can communicate it in real time? What if the same device can tell you what your carbon footprint score is, which is where the world is headed into? Everybody wants to display what their carbon footprint is. And if you can display these 2 ratings in real time from your place, which could be a restaurant, can be a bank, can be schools and colleges, so you never have to shut down ever in the future under any circumstance. Under any circumstance, I have to be something like this. A simple IoT device, which is completely for free, will be installed in your place on a subscription service. And live, they're monitoring poisonous gas levels. All of this in a simple, clean box. And it tells you what kind of safety scores you have in that place. Is it 9 out of 10, 90 out of 100, whatever metrics we want to use? And what's the carbon dosage there? Will people feel safe and well there? All of that can be communicated with a single platform that we're building. And what does it enable us to do? It enables you to communicate with the consumers. It enables you to tell the government, hey, listen, don't shut me down. It enables employers to bring employees back and keep businesses open. And that looks very simple like that. We're able to just tell you how safe a place is in real time. Now, that is one component of the service we were building over the last year. And now it's gained a lot of traction. And I'll show you a little about it as well. But we didn't stop there, right? We wanted to see how can we communicate this with all the people, because this should be information that is available in common places. We started talking to Google using all the APIs and see how can we list our score on Google in real time. And say, let's say if Sanjeev is going to the Delhi airport and he picks up his phone and says, hey, how safe is the Delhi airport right now? And you get a notification saying it is 90% safe to visit the Delhi airport right now. Gives you a sign of confidence that your wellness, your immunity levels, all of that matters to you is being taken care of by tech and in real time, right? So we were working on that. And then if you want to really scan this QR code, and the QR code will give you the local safety rating of that place too. Now, apart from that, through the My app, you'll be able to get all these parameters that have safety as a parameter in real time, and subconsciously you value it every time you step out of the house. Now, we didn't stop there, right? We wanted to see if there is a customers, big MNCs to small restaurants alike. We spoke to all of them and we gauged their interest and then understood if we price it a certain way and if way, you will have schools and colleges and every other major organization that is interacting with daily public choosing to communicate this parameter in real time. And where does that leave us in a total addressable market, which took us about 6 months to arrive at? It leaves us with an annualized opportunity of about. So how do we make our money, right? And make the device is going to be for free. Most home customers would not want to display their information on a platform. They might just end up buying the device from us. And it's like this. And I want to display all of this in real time because employees at some point would start seeing this as the new norm, right? Then we just install the device at your place and you pay a nominal fee of just about 2,000 rupees a month. That is about 27 USD per month. So next time you check into a hotel room, you will get tell you your carbon footprint saying, hi, carbon. Your carbon footprint is great because you're helping the hotel reduce its, carbon footprint, right? So the other value-added services we're looking at is we'd be able to tell you using metadata as to they're in that place, were they happy with the lighting or not? Did they spend more when they had a better lighting? What are the noise levels? And were they happy? Their customers are happy. Those are all value-added services we look to involve in. So as we move alone, and with major markets revolving around educational institutions, grade A offices, organized restaurants, hotel rooms, gyms, colleges, banks, organized retail, 50,000 customers in the first year with a dropout ratio of 20% of our customers. We're expected to clock a revenue of about 7. Go detailed into the financials later, but by year 3, we intend to reach about 500,000 subscriptions, and that should put us broadly, after all of discounting, everything that needs to be factored in a prospective fashion for us from the cost of our devices to the subscription services. Now, that gives you a significant growth rate of the third year of 130%, right? So now this gives you unit economics, and that gives you a fair understanding, roughly, you can do the math, on sale of every device, which is about 2,000 rupees per month. You make about 24,000 rupees in average revenue per year, per unit. We'll have a net margin of about 9,918 rupees, where for self-installation, which is for home devices and all that. But if you sell them as corporate installations, where you have a lot of the other factors that come in, you have a net margin of about 27%. But most of the acquisition cost is what is driving up a lot of this, but over time, that will also come down significantly for us. Now, in phase 2, we intend to measure your entire energy levels, and which is already moved into active deployment for us. So it measures all your energy consumption and divides it by the number of people using that energy and gives you a real-time carbon footprint score. So next time, I want going green, I'm not going to support that. But for you to have the ability to make a choice as a consumer, tell me what your carbon scores are. There is nobody out there doing it, and that is the combination. We go further. These are some of the customers we've been talking to, and a lot of intent has been established. They told us, hey, we like your products. We'll buy it when you come to the market. And we're very close. We're moving very, very actively. So how are we different to the competition? There were products like Shypocan, there were products like pathogen deactivators, ionizers, and all of that. They were the ones who caught the attention of people. But now, as a combination of both services, there is nobody out there. And that puts us in a very, very early mover advantage space, which is very unique right now. But in a matter of about a year or year and a half, a combination of all those different services combined with the unique selling propositions that we have is what makes us very, 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 very unique. Now, of course, we've been very veterans, and in that, one of them, the biggest achievements for us, as in terms of recognition, we were one of the 4 startups selected by Invest India and Startup India to represent Gulf Economic Forum in Davos that happened recently. Now, this is the founding team. Raja is day one, and Jessica Gomes, who's going through her own transition story. She's moved in terms of transition from male to female, was the first hire. And the reason we did that was not because of that thing alone, but we felt, hey, that's going to bring a lot of new perspective to our organization. We should get her on board. And that's the kind of people we have in this team, where the personal story is contributing to the whole narrative of the company at large. So this is a bit of our timeline since 2020. We're completely bootstrapped. In 2020, we started off and we launched our products in a matter of about 4 months after complete rapid development and deployment. We launched the UV1s, the series, all the tangible products. By 2021 March, we ended up making India's first reusable antiviral overall, which is like a PPE suit, but you can use it like normal clothing, but prevents you from viral breaches for 1 year. And that, did very well for us in the B2B market, kept us going. But then we completely moved to My Safe Place and the whole ideation of My Safe Place in 2021. Now, with us over a year later, we've actively come to the market only in the month of March to April to seek a fundraise to fulfill our product and go into the market rapidly. As of now, we're looking to come in with our entire service by December, and this is what I said the last time, and that's exactly where we are right now. And we have a lot of investor traction, very, very fortunately. In fact, tomorrow we're taking one of the final calls after 2 months of due diligence. And we are hopeful that we will be funded to the numbers we're asking for. So that gives you a little bit of our, company, and this is the whole check for you. But I would also, recommend anybody out there to go see what we face. But our focus is completely moving into the service sector, where we believe about 9 out of 90% of our attention and revenue will come from the service in the near future. Because the service sector seems more relevant and long-term, and the safety and the carbon narrative will keep us going for the next 5 to 10 years. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. This is Dominic here, if I'm allowed to ask a question.
Please.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, hi. Paying customers right now, or a prototype demo or something of that sort with any customer right now as we speak?
So the prototype is done, the POC is done. We are moving completely into first scale pilot with one customer. Although the intent is there from 7 customers, we're moving for one institution, and that will happen in November.
And the POC aspect was within the startup, or was it a paid POC somewhere?
So the POC was for rating agencies like TUV and all the other accreditation bodies. Yeah. That's where we've done a POC, and we've cleared all the parameters that anybody else would ask from us at this point, and we've cleared all of them.
Okay, and within your startup, how many team members?
We have a separate creative marketing team, and we're mostly relying on the digital presence. We haven't moved actively into feet on the ground, but that's because we want to build the right product first. And we've already, that's what we've showed to about 350 of our customers, engaged their interest too. Yeah. And we've shown all of them. We've given them a login, and we've asked them to see how this would feel. We've given some people our devices as well, and asked them to run for the next 6 hours, 4 hours, and give us their understanding of how they feel about it. And these are some of the parameters I wanted to show you all. We monitor all of these parameters in real time. Okay, which includes your air parameters, your lighting parameters, your energy parameters, your people parameters, and the pathogen deactivators, pathogen detectors.
Great. That's it from my side. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Dominic. And just for anybody else who might have any understanding as to what sort of validation is out there in the real market, this is an international rating agency that uses air, TVOC, poisonous gases, CO2, temperature, and humidity to give you a real-time understanding of the viral survivability of the pathogen. Okay. And this also tells you in real time what your immune system, health would be like. And those are what we're building on, but eventually we hope to become the standards ourselves.
Yeah. Anyone, any more questions, please? I think, Kevin, some more questions will come to you directly from the investors, as it always happens.
So, hi everyone. My name is Sanjeev Sinha, founder and CEO of Truedigital startup. Most of you know through this Venture X call. And the idea is to connect, startups with investors. And with that vision and view, we started this company. We wanted to respond to every query, even if we had or didn't like the startup or it were at a very nascent stage. We provide feedback, and we also record our calls, as you can see, so that the quality of the startups that participate and the kind of traction that they generate, etc., is for everyone to see, and based on that you can make up your mind to come. We are a very transparent organization that way, and we will continue to keep it like that going forward. So what is it that is common between these companies? They all started with a very simple idea, and the idea was to you know aggregate some things in that marketplace. So for example, if you look at Uber, you will get the confidence that if you have to drive to airport in the middle of the night, you will be able to catch your plane, because your limo is on your phone, right? You can always order the cab. Similarly, Airbnb, it started off with a vision that you can book rooms at a cheaper rate in the city that you live in. And Amazon, that we know, we started off by selling books online, and now we know what a behemoth it is. So the idea of Truedigital is to provide global investors online. Global means global as well as local investors, India and abroad. They can come here and find their startups. So what is the problem that we are seeing today? The problem today is that the startup lack access to funds. I mean, that's a serious problem today. If you go into any startups, and even if you ask them to sign up so that we can have a sustainable revenue, that also is difficult from their side. Although they want everything in terms of a full, platter of things that they want to look at, and not only money, mentorship, and all that. And that is very difficult to execute. The idea is great, but difficult to execute for a self-sustaining organization. So that the problem that a startup is facing, our company also faces the same problem, and we also are struck at times with lack and access to funds. There is a very complex fundraising procedures. As more and more people are getting in, the amount of professionalism and the amount of assessment that has gone into the fundraising process has dramatically increased. And the recent news, not very good on the startup front, about everything, layoffs, losses, even the big ones which have become unicorns and all that, is actually not adding any feeling of goodness into the whole process as well. And the cycle time is high. People want to get quick access to the funds. In fact, they want to be funded very quickly. Unfortunately, that is not happening right now. What is the problem? I mean, if you look at it, the problem is that the investors are not always available. You may think that there are a lot of investors who want to put their money, but they are not always available, right? I mean, when you make up your mind, I have signed up some 15 startups, but I always felt when I proposed to them to join me, because I had a dying need for them to be shown to someone, and then by the time they signed up after 3-4 months, when I went back to them, they said, Sanjeev, I've already invested. And that is very strange. For example, today I have a requirement for a very good telecom and an embedded company to be funded immediately by T-Hub of Hyderabad. But I have a company also, but he doesn't want to sign up with me because he is thinking about it and he is talking to the salespeople and all that. So part of the reason is that the startups do not easily trust someone, and we are going to. Because the level of transparency you see in our organization is precisely to address that. But I can tell you that from the time I started, even my friends and a lot of friends, you won't believe it, used to tell me you are like any other agent and all that. Who will pay you any money and all that. And I can tell you that people have paid me in excess of 50,000 rupees, and I have given them all the resources. Although Venture X is a a platform where we just present the interested people who want to present themselves, but barring that, we have generated decent amount of revenue. It could be like VentureX could be like 20% of the total revenue. That's all. So the amount of respect and the transparency alone that we have, that has brought to us, and the kind of work that we have done behind the scenes in terms of assessing them, giving them right advice, in terms of telling them what is the level of valuations that we think that they are vis-a-vis what they have asked us to do, is something that we always try to benchmark it against similar competition through our deal hub, which is where all the deals are, and we give all this strong advice, and that has become very, very important for us as well as for them in order to seek funds. There is a lack of assurance in terms of the investor community, where they have felt that if they invest, they might lose out during the exit, and that is okay. That is true, because this is very this is an area which is very, very risky. Everybody knows that putting money in a startup is the riskiest kind of funds that you will come across in the country today. And last, among the three A's of the problem is the assessment. Most startups are guided, and investors also are guided by expert opinion, and we believe that is very good. But experts sometimes have a lot of things to work upon, and there are issues of fading memory and all that, which may give you a wrong opinion about something. So what we do is that we do have experts, but we also have an AI tool which guides us in our research. Right now it's partially manual, but soon when we have funding, we will make it completely live, so that you can actually go on the tool and put your kind of investors that you're looking for, your sector, your ticket size, and all that, and it will get you those uh, from that standpoint. And similarly, the investors, if they're looking for startups of a similar sector, or something that is ticket size, or how much they can fund and all that, starting for 25,000 rupees up to lakhs and all that. So we are going to create that tool which will allow that, and the idea is to create an exchange out of it. Obviously, wrong assessment is a serious matter here. If you make a wrong assessment, the person who put his money, he will lose eventually, and the person who got the money, he will end up with a toxic investor and all that. So we need to avoid the bloodbath, which is very difficult, because, as you know, only one out of uh, 10 investors can make money. Actually, not everybody can make money in a startup. So the solution is a platform where you can, a startup can find money in the right investor. Similarly, the investor can make money in the right startup, if the AI tool works well. And finally, they can share the success. I've seen startups and investors becoming very friend. Earlier, the investor had a high moral ground, but when the startup became a unicorn, then startup, had now a higher control. But they will never forget the first investors who invested in them, and actually they also become serial entrepreneurs, because over a period of time, you kind of have to diversify into several areas. I have seen them becoming and scaling together. So that's the whole idea of this platform: to find money, make money, and share the success. Why Truedigital startup? Many people have asked me why you, and as I was answering you, we are very fast. Some of the things that we do is very fast. We will show you 2 to 3 investors in a month itself, if all your documents, etc., is all right. And we have, and one of the complaints was that we are we're not very cheap. I mean, in the terms of cost and all that. So now we have launched AngelX, where we start with just 3,000 rupees in the first month. We create the mandate, give our diamond index, and show to 1 or 2, and then you extend it. If you couldn't get funding, we will show to 4, 5, 6, depending on in a month, every week, like a cooling period. You will show one, you can't show 3 more at the same time. You got to learn from them and do some math around it, because there would be a feedback in the deep dive as well. So we are very fast actually, as long as you have the appetite to come bouncing back to us with the feedback incorporated, we can show you a startup at least, and there is a list of tables that from anywhere to, depending on the sector, we can show you 15 to 50 odd. When we share the mandate, a lot of people agree to show. I mean, the engagement model works well because people are pulled into it, drawn into it, and your value proposition actually creates the pathway, your revenue generation, etc., creates the pathway for you to get money. Remember one thing: if you are valuable, the investor is going to be after you because he really wants you. That I can assure you. We are very simple to operate. I'll quickly show you the portal. There are only few things that you need to do. Although it is very complex in the back end, but the front end is very, very simple. And it's very reliable because when I started, somebody even compared me with agents and all that whose phones get switched off and all that. I've never switched off my phones. Everybody contacts me, and I appear on this show every 2 weeks. So as long as I'm living, I will be here for you guys. That's my assurance to you. We have today, validated the market. As I said, I had good response from these startups. I have shown them. They actually have given very good reviews also on my Coffee X when I converse with them. I funded 3 of them on my own, and I have, through my partners and all that, almost 52 of them. The only thing is you have to get connected on a long term and invest your time in fundraising process. I also want to tell certain founders who have given me money and they haven't been able to come back to me, find time to meet an investor. And I just told them once that you can meet with the present deck, but it won't help you because 30, 40 slides won't work. You need to crisply send your message in 10 to 12 slides. So all that backend is going on, but yeah, it is a huge market. This is bigger than anything else. I don't want to emphasize further that it is, you know, a $10 billion US dollar market that we are looking at. If you add whatever deals we have and the ask that we have on our deal hub, you will arrive at $280 million. So if we were to fund all of them and take a revenue of let's say 10%, then let's say if all were to happen, we are a $28 million company. So that's the kind of traction that we are getting from our startups. And some of the top investors and VCs are already talking with us. Angel groups are talking with us. We're also launching our own fund now called Moonshot. It is only for Moonshot idea. On our diamond index, if it scales much above based on our expert opinion and our AI opinion, then we will stick our neck out and put our own money. And this money, by the way, is a combination of our own money, few of us, and angels who will join us. So we will become a syndicate for them. So what is the product? You go to the website and you find money, and very simple. You have a very simple website. You have a startup area. You have an investor area. You have a deal hub, and you have events, which is where all the recordings, etc., is there. And there is a last tab where you have, if you want to download the app for this. I couldn't get it still on Google for whatever reasons, but you can get it on your phone. You can directly take the raw files and put it on your phone, and you can use it, the context and the privacy policy. I will skip the investor part. As I said, you can always give our team a call or me a call, and you don't have to give the money now. When we invest, we'll show you the startup, and then you can commit your money. So you don't have to pay upfront, although the 3% charge we will take as a service fee because we will be working actively for you. I want to show the deal hub today, where all the startups are there that we have. This is the deal hub, the video pitches, whatever we get recorded either on our Panel X or here on Venture X. It is available here. You can click it here and hear it. Those who have already have the videos, the investors can invest in them. They don't have to pay us any money. For the ones that have not subscribed with us, if they want to interact with them, if they like it, then they have to pay the token money so that which is a subscription fees that they need to connect with them. We have 381 active startups. We have given some information that may give you an idea of what the startup is. They ask whether they are equity, venture debt, or debt funding that they are looking at, seed, or they're already funded or partially funded by someone which has come to me, that is also pasted, or if it is a fresh one, so on and so forth. This have been found very helpful because people have said that they can actually see a lot of data. For example, if you're looking for an agri-tech company, you can just type here and and you will get access to all the agri-tech companies here, so on and so forth. Ed tech also you can type. Otherwise, also you can sort out like an Excel sheet, without typing anything. You can go to your areas of interest. If it doesn't sort out well, because it is obviously the tools ability that we are using. Um, we haven't developed it on an app and all that, and so on and so forth. So this is the deal hub where all the deals are there, events are there, as you see, as Major General Sir was saying, were recorded and we put it here, and you can just click it and you can invest on these ones. Investors can invest on these ones. They have already been on VentureX, and they, as long as VentureX is there, it's a one-time charge. They are there on our network. Anytime they can come and invest on these guys. So feel free. You don't have to ask me a deck. You can look at their details by clicking on these and the numbers 355. You can search in Deal Hub and you can know what the one line message is. And then you can talk to me and say that I want to talk to this guy, and you can talk to them. Anyway, their details are there. You can directly take from the video itself, name and so on and so forth. So coming back to the investor side, as I said, it's about, there is a franchisee model also we are launching. We have some companies coming up and wanting to tie up with us. That's a great news because that gives me annuity business every year. Now, how you, as a startup, reach here is that first of all, you can go to startup page and tells us about how our tool works. But no matter how I simplify, it still looks complex. Here we have a message for every startup to present as much as possible. Taking an example of Starbucks, which presented 800 times before they got their first funding. We also are now assisting our startups because they have wasted a lot of their money here and there. We can do it in a much cheaper way. So we assist them now on pitch deck, business plan, and everything. And still after that, we find mistakes and all that. Once there is a mistake, then the investor doesn't like it. You can pitch, you can answer some 17 questions, which will help us to map you properly, these questions against the investors. Eventually, obviously, as you know, when the portal, when the exchange will be developed, this will automatically do that thing. You can go to the panel actually, who gives you a diamond rating out of 10, which our investors like to have because they want to get our opinion. So you can get that. Panel consists of people who have industry knowledge and all that. AngelX we launched recently to make it more affordable, pay as you go model or pay as you earn model. Your base plan for a month is 3,000, where we will do review your all the things, give you a diamond index. Diamond index is included in that, and we will create the mandate and we'll float it with all the investors. And at least two, minimum is two. We can do more if the time permits, with a cooling period and all that. Or you take the quarter plan or the half yearly plan. This is much affordable, I thought, but this is only for less than 2 crores because there is a complexity issue in larger deals. So that is why we cannot do it for everything. CDEX is, as you already know, we teach for 3 months, where we develop all the project plans and everything on our own, and that is why it's little costly because time and effort is involved and teaching is involved for 3 months, and then we put you on to VentureX. VentureX is very much, this is the pitch, and there is a light model where we present, you present also, and we help you meet 5-6 investors. And VentureX Pro is you don't present at all. We engage you with as many investors as possible once we create a mandate for you. Syndicate X is for 10 to 75 crores. So this is a different, there we try to create everything on our own because we don't trust your pitch decks, etc. And we don't want to lose chances here because the money is high. And Series X is even more complex because it's 75 crores onwards. Advisor X is when we get into an advisory model with the people. So with that, I will go back to my presentation. And so this is how you find money, make money, and share the success. The model is business model is very simple. Listing is free. You don't have to pay for it. You get listed on the Deal Hub. Premium subscription starts for $200 to $1,000 and 10,000 rupees onwards in rupee terms. Success fee for the pass through, where we just do some basic checkups and give it to our investors, is 3% from the startups and 3% from the investors. A success fee for a direct mandate, where we put our skin, we develop everything for you and all that, is 5 to 7% from the startups and 3% from the investors. Products and TrueCon insights are sold separately, also depending upon what various of those models that you have chosen, wherever we felt like putting it, especially in the direct mandate, we usually put TrueCon insights that we have from the AI tool. The market has adopted us. What we have generally done, we haven't done too much. We have just these events. We have struck some good partnerships based on our transparency. People have liked us for that. We're very active on social media, and the digital marketing effort is paying us a lot here. And to be honest, we haven't burned a lot of cash into all this. Just on the tools and the technologies only we have put our money. Our competitive advantage is that probably we are first to market ourselves. You just list once. My apology, I will have to do this because I am the host as well. So now we can go forward. So we are first to market. You can list it once on VentureX, and as long as you are there, your contacts are there, investor can come looking for you even in the next year. And I thought this is a great idea, and it will help. I mean, it will populate more as more and more people are choosing to get populated. They are on the latter side of it. But I'm pretty hopeful that this will be a very good exchange eventually when the whole portal will develop. We want to be a brand, and we will continue to strive to that. As I said, this triaging will happen in our tool, which is when we get funding, we'll create that. And all this that you are seeing manually will come together. The prices will appear, your matching will happen. And if at all after that it is not happening, we can take the manual route as well. Obviously, the matching will happen, and we are going to predict unicorns also, because this was the vision of the company when it started. And we want to do that in a big way, because we want to be very careful with that. We want to make sure that those companies are organically rising, and they have a huge TAM by virtue of which they can do that. We have been part of Startup India, as you know. We've been approached by NASSCOM for a kind of relationship and partnership. We are still working on that. OP Jindal Global University invited us, and many people are actually asking me, and I'll be honest, and T Hub has actually invited me to Hyderabad to be on the panel and all that. So it's just the lack of time, and I still love my business. I don't know if I do all this, I may never be able to run the company. So because of that, I have not shown a lot of associations that have happened. This is the team. I founded this company. My wife is the co-founder here, and Major General Sir has been there, as he said, from the beginning. Mohit Gupta is the guy with whom I have won some few deals, and he's a very good, cool guy. And if you want to develop your business plans and all that, he charges also less, based in Delhi. Not that he's cheap, but he's better than others as well, and he's very good. He will come on the call as well. But Mr. Bharat Mittal is not on the call, but I invited him. He actually knows him, because Bharat was also evaluating us when we were going for funding for Room Shoom. Mukund Mishra is our sales guy, very energetic guy. Well, we just took his name, and he has joined at the fag end. Interesting, he has a long life, I guess. And Karthik is the sales head, and also takes care of partnership. CDEX, we need to have a cohort there. So, once it is done, Sohail will help us with a lot of things. And I've been mentored a long time with Nitin Agarwal on this, because I raised fund for him. I was also worked alongside him and all that. So I consider him a lot of the inputs that I know today, or the knowledge that I have today, I will have to attribute it to him. And the advisors, the panels which will evaluate you is here. I mean, Hugh Chandwani will take care of energy, utilities, EV, etc. Cherukuru Sridharan is our Kapil Dev. He can actually speak on anything. He has an aviation company of his own. Prince Panikar, he is based in the UK. He is a scientist in the healthcare sector, does molecule research. He is our health tech guy. Rajiv Ranjan, he has onboarded. He comes on ZTV and all that. Around 400,000 farmers saying 1 million farmers will be on his tool. He is our agri-tech expert. I myself have 20 years of experience, 28 years of experience with IBM, Wipro, Infosys. I have been evaluating deals all my life, so I am very good on tech and the fintech side of things. Vicky Pava also can take fintech and tech kind of things. He works in a very renowned consulting company. Nitin himself owns RoomShoom. It's a co-living company. He's our expert go-to guy on real estate and co-working spaces. Mr. MP Singh has done a lot of work for us. He is very good in purchase and commodities. He gives a lot of ideas to us and also evaluates companies, especially e-commerce front and all that. So we are looking for 10% dilution for a $1 million seed funding. We will be using it, half of it for development of the AI and rest of it on staffing, marketing and operations. Last year we did around 3 lakhs. This time we want to do around 10 lakhs. We don't have too much, cash burn or, as I said, losses. So more or less, except for the taxes and all that, it's pure profit, and we are a highly profitable company from that standpoint. And we want to keep it that way, whether we reach a market cap, but we are very hopeful that we will reach it because of our transparency and all that. The growth, as I said, an uptick is happening. If I were to compare 1 year when I started right behind in June, actually April, and first customer signed up in June, and today is June, just past June, I would say there's a huge traction compared to the amount of calls that I was getting then and today. We had a first sign up at that time, and today we have people brimming and talking to me, and in fact asking me to give their database, so on and so forth. So we've done a system of record itself has helped us a lot, and that's my message to every startup. You start doing meticulous things, market is going to help you. So that's it. I'm open for questions. Anybody wants to ask any questions, happy to answer them.
Yeah, any questions for Sanjeev? Please go ahead.
Today is a great day. We are finishing on time.
Yeah, today we are absolutely on time. We finished.
Yeah, if you had started.
So I think the questions are going to come to you directly, Sanjeev, as it always happens.
I think today it has ended in time because the presentations are short enough to be sweet and long enough to be effective.
Yeah,
So that is how I would put it. Anyway,
Yeah,
Sanjeev is, quite clear, categorical, and it addresses almost all the points, from the point of view of startups and also the investors. Good one.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sanjeev. It was again a great presentation, and I'm sure people are going to connect with you directly after this.